Why 2020 is the best year to start flipping cars for profit right now. Alright, in this video, I'm going to be going over with you why 2020 is the best year to get started in flipping cars, trying to get into flipping cars full time or just as a side hustle to make some extra money. This is the best year to get into this business, and I'm going to explain why. Before I do, I want you to please subscribe to this channel so you can let YouTube know that I'm working hard to make sure that you guys get good content over to you. But now, enough about that. The reason that I'm saying that 2020 is the best year to get into flipping cars is because, as we all know, this year we had a horrible pandemic that caused the government to shut down a lot of businesses, and it's caused, in different sectors, it's caused a lot of different things. But what we're going to be talking about today is mainly the sector of the car industry. When the pandemic hit, it was sort of like a tax season again for car dealers and people that flip cars, because a lot of people had money, especially when they gave away the stimulus package and they was giving people money. It was sort of like tax season on a normal year, where they pretty much build up before tax season come up. A lot of the dealers, what they do is they build up their inventories so that they have a lot of cars when that time comes, because people buy cars fast when they get that extra bit of money at the end of the year. People that need a car at that time, when they might got an old car or whatever, that's the biggest time of year that people buy cars. So when the pandemic hit, basically at that time, the bigger car lots that sell new cars, when the factories being closed, those car lots weren't getting new cars in as they were before. So there was a shortage of new cars. So they have to have, in their contracts, they have to have a certain amount of new cars to old cars. So when this pandemic hit and those cars weren't able to hit, these bigger car lots, they got a lot more money to spend on cars per car than the average buy here pay here lot. So with all of those car lots hitting the auctions at the same time, what that's doing is that's raising the prices at the auctions. And if you've been on the auction sites or whatever, I don't know if you can go on to like Copart or any of the Manheim or IAAIs, any of those auction sites, if you go on there and you look at the prices, those prices are like outrageous. The prices they're paying for cars right now, there's hardly any room for any profit for the small flipper. After the prices go up at the auctions, now prices are up. It's sort of like anything else with supply and demand. Once the prices at the auctions go to a certain level of going up, those prices are pretty much, the starting price goes up on the bid. So everything starts higher, and there's so much more competition that the prices are just going up outrageous. We're getting to a point right now to where it's basically a bubble being created by these inflated prices in cars. If you selling cars currently, you know that prices of cars normally, what you would get is way higher than normal. So every bubble busts. If you've been around a significant amount of time and doing business in this economy, you know that bubble, like there's always some kind of bubble, and then the bubble pops. All right, this is where the advantage comes in at for the small guy that's just starting. You go into this with a plan. I'm gonna give it my best effort to give you that plan. What you want to do is, at this point in time where the prices are so high, you want to be finding cars right in your backyard. You want to be going to pawn shops, title loan companies, tow yards, even dealers that it looks like they might be not doing a lot of business, or maybe they don't have a lot of cars on their lot. Like going to those people, and also dealing with dealers as far as repos, trying to get going up to a dealer and being like, hey man, you know, like trying to work out a deal with them to where you'll deal with their repos, because they don't want to deal with them. They don't want to send them to the auction. They don't want to clean them back. They don't want to find out after somebody's owned it the damage that it might have. And so a lot of times it'll be better for them to make a little bit something off of it, because they've already made their money already. When they receive the down payment, they've made their money already. And if you flip cars or you're a dealer, you know that. So basically what you want to do is start getting those at as discounted a price as you possibly can, or set yourself up to where you can get some people in your backyard that you can deal with and get good deals on cars, and just start there. In the next few months, as the elections go on and as things, so much unsurety about the car industry in particular, because that's what we're talking about, the car industry. When a bank is trying to loan on a car right now, the prices are really high because of that, because of all of the inflation or whatever. So it's basically, that's a sign that banks are not wanting to loan as freely anymore, so they're putting a lot of interest on them. And that's why when you go in to get a car right now, it might be like $4,000 down, compared to a few months ago it was only like $1,000 down. So that's just a sign that banks aren't wanting to loan. So when banks get to the point where they're not loaning money anymore on those cars, a lot of the car lots are going to be stuck with a bunch of overpriced cars on their lot, and they can't go back to the auction right away. So that's, at that point, within the next few months, if you can sit down and strategize, sort of in the sense of what I'm saying, if you could sit down and strategize a plan in that fashion, at that point you'll be done had your money right in order to go into and step into the auction, because a lot of those dealers won't make it out of this when this bubble pops. So basically what you want to do is you want to stick with cheap buckets. You want to stick with Hondas, Nissans, Toyotas, like Chevys, the older like Buick Centuries, the Buick LeSabres, things of that sort. You want to stick with the cheaper bucket cars. You want to spend around $300 to $500 on a car and turn around and flip it for $1,000. Just keep it simple. You don't buy things that need a lot of mechanical work. You want things that are going to be pretty much an easy flip. There's a difference between flipping and restoring. If you're going to get into restoring cars, that's a whole another thing, and it takes a little bit more money to get involved in that. But when you're just flipping buckets, when you're buying cars that somebody wants to get rid of for a low price because they don't want it anymore, and you're seeing the value in it because you know what it's worth, and you're adding value to that vehicle, and you're selling it over to somebody else for the value, that for the price that you put on, and that you agree with that person. There's nothing wrong with that in itself. I'm not talking about licensing. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm just strictly talking about flipping cars, and how in 2020, if you're going to get into flipping cars, this is the best time with the right strategy to get in the game and make some good money, and possibly come out, take the place of some other car lots that won't make it through this pandemic. So with that being said, that was video. I hope this was good content. I hope it reached somebody and taught somebody something. Please like the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, so that every time new videos are released, you can get notified. And that's that. So until next time, peace.